everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Anthem of Impact Wrestling Show. I am your host, Jason, and I'm coming to you live on Cinco de Mayo. Sorry this is going up late, guys, today. Been working today. We had a catering event for Cinco de Mayo, so I've been working all morning and all day long. Got home, got in some DDPY, and now I'm ready to do today's review and reaction show. So anyway, let's get started, shall we? I know we got... sorry. Distractions now, and everybody's wanting to text me. Oh, man. Alright, so today, last night's episode, overall, I thought it was really, really good. It was one of the best episodes of Impact I've had I've watched in a very long time. Not that there's been a whole lot of bad ones either, but this has just been really, really good. And one thing that I think definitely added to the whole spectrum was having David Penzer back, announcing. I'm not trying to say Christy Hemi's ever done bad or JB's ever done bad, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because I grew up loving WCW. And David Penzer is just that voice that I always heard. Made it seem, epic. Made it seem like a big deal. And hearing his name back hearing his voice back announcing guys, it just has that feel again, And it seems it's really good. I like it. I enjoy it. And just overall, man, so much wrestling on this episode, and so many good wrestling, so many good matches that just, they all told a story, they all furthered storylines, but inside the match itself, with the Magnus and Matt Morgan, Magnus worked the leg, he tried to chop down the Giant kept coming back, then he had to cheat to win, because now, he's kind of becoming a heel. It was just, all those different things were just really, really good. So let's go ahead. I'll kind of go through this a little bit. We start off obviously with Eddie Edwards versus Matt Sidell. Man, I was really looking forward to this match. I was kind of shocked, and I didn't really go look back at anything, but I was kind of shocked to hear this would have been their first match. Because they've wrestled in so many of the same places. I don't know, but anyway, definitely didn't wrestle this was their first time in the ring together. This was a great match. Man, just so many great spots, but it wasn't just okay, nothing, big spot, but they wrestled a long match. I think they gave this at least an actual time. I'm trying to think here. I think it went at least the first almost 30 minutes of the show, I believe. Almost at least. And man, just some different awesome moves. Matt Sidell is so good. Man. And both of them can sell really well with their facial expressions and how a match is going. And that was kind of almost their story of their match was the, fighting to see who can outlast one another, who can outmaneuver one another, who can get in the mind of the other person by kicking out at the last second, who can top who with what move, who can counter what. That was kind of their whole story, and it was just really good. It's a way that two faces should face each other. It's a battle of attrition, it's a battle of pride, it's a battle of passion, and that's just what they're doing, trying to one-up each other without getting cheap, and just doing a really good job. And it was just such a good way to kick off Impact Wrestling, get people really drawn in. Obviously, you see a name that you know on Matt Sidell, like Josh Matthews said, another universe is known as Evan Bourne. It's that match, you kind of knew, okay, tonight's going to be a fun night, because you already knew a couple of the other matches that were about to come that night, and you knew those were probably going to be good. Man, that first match, though, that was so good. And then, of course, you had, excuse me, Eddie Edwards and Angelina Love come in and attack Alicia and Eddie. Man, I love this whole feud. I love the story. I love the way both guys have really taken their roles in this program and have really ran with it, really fully bought in. Same thing with Angelina and Alicia. I think they're both also doing a very good job of what their roles are supposed to be. Um, yeah, I can't wait because this is at Slammiversary. It's either going to be a mixed tag or at least Davey versus Eddie, which they've already done, like the Last Man Standing. So you got to go to that next level, and I don't know what that would be, but man, it could be just an insane, maybe a Monsters Ball match, which I know is kind of like that, but I don't know, up the ante somehow, some way at Slammiversary, maybe like a First Blood match, or I don't know, something like that, I guess. Um, I'm really looking forward to it. Whether it's a mixed tag or just one-on-one, I don't care because I know Angelina can go. I haven't seen a whole lot of Alicia, but I think the other three could go good enough to carry her along, regardless of how long she's in the ring or whatever. I don't know much about her backstory of her wrestling career at all, but I'm interested in it. So that's all. It's the most important thing is being very interested in it. So then we went on a backstage segment with Magnus and him talking about, he wants that match. And, of course, Matt Morgan interrupts him, and we set up a match for later on for the GFW championship between Matt Morgan and Magnus. That was later to come. But then, up next, it was Siena versus Christina von Erie for the GFW Women's Championship match. This was a good match. There was a couple. I don't know. I have no clue of how often they've been in the ring together. But there was a couple mishaps. But overall, I think both women are very talented. They both have great looks. They both have a very defined, out of the ordinary, unique character about them, and they're both just really, really good. I have to admit, I did not see this coming, and that is Siena winning that GFW title. Just because the way that a lot of GFW people have kind of come in and they've tried to put them over, at least for the time being, I was kind of surprised that Siena ended up winning. I don't know, I just thought Christina von Erie was going to win, and then eventually she was going to face probably like Rosemary at Slammiversary. That's just how I saw it going. But hey, awesome, because I think you could strap the Rockets to Siena and shoot her up to the moon. I think she could definitely be the next, ODB, Awesome Kong, Gail Kim, Angelina Love type centerpiece of that knockout division. I know a lot of people are on there because later on they had a backstage segment where Siena confronts Karen Jarrett. And a lot of people are kind of upset that Karen's on TV. One, she's not on a whole lot. Two, I think once she got in the first couple of episodes, she kind of got her stride back. She's become a whole lot better. Plus, they're short segments. So, again, that's kind of more in her wheelhouse. But the stuff she's doing with Siena is very interesting. It's very good, and it gives Siena somebody that to kind of feud with that will be able to facilitate new faces her way without there being like a faction in the women's division. The beautiful people did it right because there's like 2, maybe 3, and that. But outside of that, there's not been a whole lot of I don't really like fashions in the women's division because one, women's divisions usually get very little TV time. If you even look at Impact Wrestling usually does give the women a lot of time. But if you were to have a faction, that already takes up most of that division. So it doesn't it usually doesn't work. It doesn't evolve to anything. So I don't necessarily like that. But this way, you have somebody there that's like a leader against a heel, and you're just gonna feed her faces to just make her look dominant. And eventually, you're gonna probably have, I don't know, maybe like a Gail Kim come back and win the title and kind of defeat the main heel, and now you've got a face that'll get heels fed to her. So that, and it just can kind of keep cycling. So that's what I kind of like about that. I'm not going to sit here and get upset because Karen Jarrett's on TV. Plus, it's a good way to get that Jarrett name on TV without it being Jeff. Because Jeff's a very smart guy in this wrestling business, and I think Jeff knows, especially because he's been so involved in social media with him trying to get GFW around. I think he kind of knows that there's a lot of fans out there that will get turned away from Impact Wrestling because they're going to go. I mean, I can see it all written right now all over Twitter, all on YouTube. Everybody's saying, because they were starting to say it anyway. Oh, how long do you think it'll be before Jeff puts the title on himself? Oh, how long do you think Jeff's going to be on TV? He knows that, and people are going to be turned away because that's what they're going to say, whether that's his belief or not. Which is fine. But this is a way to get a Jarrett name on TV, to get that notoriety of that name without him being on TV. I'm sure eventually he will. I think a lot of us Impact Wrestling fans from day one want to see him back and on TV. I'd like to see him kind of be like, no, we're done with this whole committee thing. Buck stops with me, and like he just kind of takes over. That'd be cool. I would like that. But anyway, then we get to one of my favorite parts, because I just started laughing so hard. They go to an on-screen of JB or of Josh and Pope, and of course the suspended JB pops in the crowd back there behind. He's got all these different signs, brutal as fuck. I was like, oh my god, yes, that's so good. Josh sucks, free JB, all that stuff. That part was hilarious. I really laughed hard at that. We get some other matches, like finally get that Magnus Matt Morgan match. Again, another great match. Great storytelling, great pace. It moved along. It felt epic. It felt like a big deal, big fight feel. Of course, Magnus held on to the title. So he'll go on to face who we found out later on that night, Alberto Patron. Excuse me. For that title, Alberto will get a chance at the GFW title. But like I said, the storytelling within the match was great. There's just so many different things I'm really excited about with where this roster's going. And I'm very interested to see where all these GFW stories go. Like, what are these matches and everything else? So that was just a continuation. Another one of those matches where I just felt like, man, this has just been a great night of wrestling. Then we see like a couple different I'll go ahead and talk about a couple different of the vignettes. Number one, the whole Make Impact Great Again ones, where it's just showing them sitting on the couch and they kind of talk about themselves and Impact or how they can make Impact great. Those were fine for like the first couple weeks. Now it's kind of getting repetitive. It almost seems like, oh, hey, how can we fill this up? Oh, let's add a couple of these vignettes in. Those are starting to get a little old. Outside of those, man, the Rockstar Explode one, I can't stop laughing at that one. That one is such a perfect, like, mockumentary style type thing where he is trying to be so serious with being funny. Okay, like, whenever he was attacked, he was only attacked on the knee. Only attacked, that hammer only hit his knee, and they even replay it, and all he's doing is getting hit in the knee. He's got a neck brace on, he's got his arm in a sling. Of course he's in a wheelchair, but that would make sense because, his knee. I have to take 4 painkillers just to go to the bathroom. And then behind all the painkillers, just a picture of Swoggle. Oh my god. Oh, and then the best way to end it is, I didn't mean to pull down his pants. Ah, so good. Because it was with the music and the black and white, meant to be it's like a perfect mockumentary style vignette, and it was so good. I died laughing every time I've seen this. Then you go to like all the LAX vignettes, the clubhouse stuff. That is awesome. That is so good, so well done. The way those were done is how the Aces and 8 clubhouse should have been done. And clearly, I think we all know who that is behind it. At least the idea of it. The shooting of it is probably Kevin Sullivan, or at least the production and editing of it. The shooting of it and the writing of it and everything else is probably JB, because this is very reminiscent of all the Hardy stuff. And just it's so good. And of course, you got Conan talking the whole time, and Conan's just the man. Dude is money, gold, everything. Man, just been a fan of his forever, man. Forever. Love Conan. Love K-Dog. But yeah, all those vignettes, those ones are really good. Then we get to the Congo Kong squash match. This is the first time I really thought that this is how Congo Kong should have been booked since his debut. I get that, like, it was kind of brought on by Siena, I guess, is the way that they were kind of trying to put that out there. But I hated whenever he would come over his match and it was with Siena and KM and Laurel Van Ness. It's like, oh yeah, who else is coming out? Just too much for, like, him. I like the fact that now it's almost like they're kind of saying, like, this is Laurel Van Ness's new kind of man kind of thing. I don't know, I think it's funny because with her, the way she's acting now, because now it's getting more of like, she doesn't even talk. She's just like him now. She has gone primal, like just rah, yeah, and she follows along and like does the stuff with it. I think it's good. I like it. And Congo Kong is just a massive man, and like you could always tell he's pretty massive. And I'm not saying that Braxton Sutter is a big man, but he's obviously a fit, well-built man that's not like super short, and Congo Kong makes him look like Rey Mysterio. Like he just makes him look real small. That is a massive man, and for him to do what he does in the ring, it's just insane. And I'm glad that it wasn't just another kind of squash match. It's starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, we get it. Can we further that story now? And now here we go. So now this will be interesting too. I think that could be a really good fun match to have a mixed tag between Laurel Van Ness and Congo Kong, Braxton Sutter, and Allie. It could be a lot of fun to watch. So we'll see where that goes, how long it takes them to get that. Then we get the other one I want to talk about is obviously the main event. This is by far the best match I have ever seen out of Eli Drake. Hands down. Best match he has ever had. And I don't know if it's because he feels like he has to step up. I don't know if it was because Alberto El Patron kind of carried it, or if it was because he finally had a wrestling partner that he could do different things with that he hasn't been able to do with before. I don't know. I also don't know much about how whenever Eli Drake was at WWE, whenever he's in developmental, I don't know how long he was there. I don't know if he was ever in there and cross paths at the same time as Alberto. So maybe they had like some chemistry or working together. I'm not sure. I have no clue. But man, they had a great match. Great, stiff. Again, telling the story of, you're not going to come in here and beat me. Well, yes, I am. And just like kind of going back and forth. The whole Tyrus thing and getting him kicked out. And then, man, that like that springboard back flat for the DDT, that was just, oh my gosh, that was so good. And I was not expecting that out of Eli Drake. Of course, Alberto El Patron won, so he moves on to face Magnus next week. But man, I think with that match right there, letting him go like that just goes to show all the people that are worried about Eli Drake or how he's getting pushed or anything like that. No, yeah, they have big plans for him. They didn't have him go toe-to-toe with Alberto El Patron like that in a main event for a shot at a title if they didn't have big plans for him. I just, throughout tonight, what tonight really kind of helped me, think about was how, like, Impact Wrestling's never had a real weak roster. Say that 3 times fast. But they've always had good rosters, but there's something about the way, after watching tonight, just it really hit me of, man, this roster could be the deepest and the best Impact Wrestling has ever had. Give it some time to really showcase itself, especially with some of the young guys. But man, if you think about it, I mean, look at the top. You got Bobby Lashley, Matt Morgan, EC3, James Storm, Magnus, Alberto El Patron, Eli Drake. You could even maybe put Tyrus in there, something like that. I'm trying to think now. Now I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, and forget about this person. But then you kind of think about some other people. You got Bram, Kingston. Oh man, I'm trying to think. Sorry, Eddie Edwards, Davey Richards. Then you got guys like Matt Sidell, Low Key, Sanjay Dutt, Trevor Lee, Andrew Everett, DJ Z, Suicide, Caleb Conley, Desmond Xavier really showed a lot of stuff. You know, you got all the LAX, you got Abyss, Rosemary, Siena, Christina Von Erie, Allie, Brandy Rhodes, MJ Jenkins, Diamante, obviously with LAX. Gail Kim will be coming back. Angelina Love. I mean, from top to bottom, you know, all the tag teams, the Falaba and Mario Baccara. I mean, we're gonna see all that, the tag teams unfold with some other things, you know, Reno Scum, everything else. I mean, this could be just let some of these guys that weren't very well known kind of build themselves up. You have all these guys coming back, so it's nostalgic. You have all the other guys that have been there for a while that have built themselves up. This could be one of the best rosters Impact Wrestling has ever had. You know? And I'm looking forward to everything that they're about to do, man. I just really am. And Slammiversary coming up. This could be one of the best pay-per-views. And, you know, I don't know who's going to see this video. If anybody that's not an Impact Wrestling fan, that might be just somehow catching this video. I highly doubt you've waited almost 22 minutes into it. But if you have, good for you. And go check them out. I don't care how you check them out. Go get the Fight TV app. If you're in the UK or overseas, go get the TNA Total Access app, whatever that one is. Find Pop TV. You know, find somehow a way to watch it and support it. Because this company needs the support, and it deserves the support. It's not like it's a bad company. And this is a whole new regime. I know there's some old guys that are coming back in to help out with like creative and talent, but the bosses, the business that's running this is totally brand new. This isn't the same old company that's trying to not pay people, that's trying to get in trouble with not paying certain taxes or whatever else. Okay? So all that stuff that people still complain about or still make fun of Impact Wrestling about needs to stop. Period. It's dumb. It is so dumb. You know, if you want to support wrestlers, if you call yourself a wrestling fan, you want to support wrestlers, guess what? You have to go support the company too. You know, I've never been a huge WWE guy. I mean, obviously they bought up everything from our childhood, so yeah, I buy the network. Why? Mainly because of WCW. I'll go watch old WCW stuff. I'll watch old WWF stuff. ECW. You know, those are the stuff usually that I watch. You know, I could care less about the pay-per-views every month, but yeah, I'll usually watch it because why the hell not? I'm already paying for it whenever I pay the monthly fee. So I'll watch it, but you know why I mainly keep watching as much as I do with WWE? It's because I'm fans of guys like, you know, Seth Rollins, formerly known as Tyler Black, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Bobby, you know, obviously the TNA guys that have gone over there. You know, I'm fans of Cesaro. Fan of, the Revivals, some of the New Day. Now I'm fans of the New Day, but I don't know. Some of their stuff's getting a little old, but I was a fan of the New Day. You know, I'm a fan of like several of the different wrestlers there, and I want to support them. You know, so unfortunately I have to go through the company to show them support. You know, and stuff like that. So I've never understood the fact that people are like, well, I'm not watching because they don't pay their wrestlers. Well, hey, guess what, dumbass? By you not watching, you're not giving them revenue, so that's why they can't pay their damn wrestlers. I'm sorry, but like just some of these different things, it just makes no sense. You know, like, oh yeah, I want to support wrestlers and all this stuff. Okay, well, have you ever bought anything from Impact Wrestling? Have you ever bought any of their merch off of Pro Wrestling Tees? No. Okay, then stop saying you want to support because you clearly don't. Just different things like that. It always kind of like really gets on my nerves. And I hear it on YouTube channels all the time. I see it on Twitter all the time, and it just gets on my nerves. So, anyway, today's going to be kind of short because that episode was so good. Like, it's hard to, I did a WWE video after their payback thing, and it was like almost an hour long. And it's because there's so many things that were wrong with that, or that I didn't like. It's much easier to rant and rave for an hour whenever you're like trying to critique something than whenever you see things that you just really enjoyed and you had a good time watching it. So more than likely my Impact shows are probably going to be shorter, because most of the time I enjoy Impact Wrestling. Sometimes they have their faults. Every wrestling company does. It's just the way the wrestling world is. But yeah, this last show was really good. I had so much fun watching it. I really did. Like, I didn't want it to end. I wanted to keep going. So, but anyway, thank you for watching. Go follow me on Twitter at Anthem of Impact, or my personal one at ChefJason98. Also, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification button. And until next time, peace.